Derek, why do you have the microphone?
What are you talking about?
The microphone. It's got to be like this.
It's like a self-service gas station. You got to pump your own gas around here, my man. I'm not gonna adjust your mic.
Last time I tried to adjust the mic, you got mad at me.
In the radio days, I did the thermostat. I did the seat lumbar support. Remember the lumbar in those chairs at NDE? It was the worst. I did everything for you. I set the table for you. I am no longer.
So we've started now. Should we start over and do this officially?
Well, you got to do your greeting dealio, whatever it is. Actually, I kind of have to sneeze, so maybe we should start over. Well, I'm starting to lose it. Hold on.
Hi there. How are you? My name is Jake Query. That is Derek Schultz. This is the incredibly creatively and appropriately named now charitably award-winning Query and Schultz program on ISC Sports Network. And it is a sleep deprivation episode of the show. It's been a while since we've done one of these back for IndyCar when I used to do the Red Eyes, but had a little bit of a travel bugaboo coming back from St. Pete for the IndyCar opener. And then I do a morning radio show now, Derek. So
yeah, we know.
Things were shortened in terms of the sleep time. I didn't get a lot of beauty sleep, even though I still obviously look pretty good. This is episode number 75, Mean Joe Green, the first poster I had on my wall as a kid. And, of course, the Coca-Cola commercial was huge at that time. Thanks, Mean Joe. What are you doing?
What are you talking about?
The Mean Joe Green Coca-Cola commercial. It's like the most famous commercial in professional sports history.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mean Joe Green. He played for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm aware of Mean Joe Green and
the
Hall
Coca-Cola
of Famer,
commercial. He's like limping off the field. This little kid comes up and is like, "Hey, Mean Joe, you're my favorite player." And Mean Joe Green looks at him and then the kid says, "You want my Coke?" And Mean Joe Green drinks the whole Coke in one swig. And the kid wanders off kind of defeated because he lost his Coke. And then Mean Joe Green says, "Hey, kid." And he reaches, he's got his jersey over his shoulder. And he goes, "Catch." And the kid catches it and goes, "Wow. Thanks, Mean Joe." It's like the most iconic.
I know the polar bears, around Christmas, where the polar bears drink the Coke, and they go they don't talk. So there's no words, I don't think, in the polar bear ones.
That was 4 years ago.
I remember Diet Coke had a campaign. That just for the feel of it, just for the taste of it, Diet Coke. I remember that. Okay. The Mean Joe Green, I'm assuming, was in the 70s?
I think it actually came out in 81. 80 or 81.
Okay. Well, I was born in 83, so it's not like it'd be right in my wheelhouse.
Did you ever see The Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
Yeah, that was around 44 years before you were born.
Okay, well, they weren't running 1981 commercials in 1991 or 2001, so if I missed that window, I missed it.
Okay. You were born in what year?
83.
And what day?
February 27th. Yeah, it was yesterday. You don't have to check your watch.
Okay.
I did not receive a birthday text from you.
I didn't know it was your birthday.
Or a birthday Facebook post. I check.
Yeah,
apparently
I
do. Keep a list. So if you not say happy birthday on my birthday.
How many people wish you happy birthday? I'm going to look.
Oh, God, thousands.
I'm going to look on your Facebook here.
Thousands of people said it.
Let's see
your
here.
sister actually wrote the nicest post of the day. Jennifer wrote a really nice post about how we've never met, but I'm part of your family and all of that. Your sisters are real sweet to me, and your parents. You're not. Jude sent me a really nice message a couple of months ago when you got the morning show job, and I don't know. It's nice that they feel.
Looks like my sister is one of 4 people that sent you a birthday
that they want to reach. No, there are a ton of people that actually posted happy birthday, but there are some people that posted an actual message, and your sister was one of the people that posted an actual message.
I don't understand how Facebook works. I can't figure out. People, do you see somebody's comment? How do I find it?
I'm on it because I've always been on it, And it's a lot like what fantasy football was to me before I finally walked away, where I was just playing because I've always played fantasy football, and I don't even really enjoy it anymore, but I still have a team.
All right, well, listen, I'd like to sit here and talk about your birthday.
It's a good day.
But there's plenty to talk about, actually.
Yeah, we got a lot of college basketball, in fact, to get to. Final week of the men's regular season.
Though. We were delayed, and then when I found out my flight was delayed and I was covered in track sludge and sunscreen and everything else, I did manage to find a health and resort club in St. Petersburg or in Tampa near the airport wonderful, beautiful place. And talked to the front desk girl, and she let me go in and shower and take a steam.
That's weird.
I shaved, got all cleaned up. I smelled and looked like $1,000,000 when I got out.
Yeah, the last time that I took a shower in a place that I didn't own was probably like Wright Quad at IU 20-something years ago. I never ever want to shower in like a community
You don't shower in hotels?
No, I own or rent. Like, obviously, I would shower in a hotel room, or we were in the condo for when we were in Florida. I showered there. Like a community shower, like in a public place, a gym, what
about at a truck stop?
A golf club,
a
truck stop especially. I would never shower at a truck stop.
Why not? I mean, you hear it.
I don't even want to use the bathroom at a truck stop.
You hear overhead, they'll say like, shower 22 ready for Schultz?
Yeah, no, that's like my worst nightmare. That would be my worst nightmare if you made me do that.
Why?
It's
Are you
awful.
afraid of big burly truckers?
I'm not a big germaphobe, but there's just something like a shower to me is a sacred place. I don't want anyone else's soap scum or black hairs or toenails or anything like that to come in contact with me. Like water that you've bathed in, I would rather step in urine than step in water that someone else has bathed in.
I don't want your black hairs or toenails.
Anything that falls off, dead skin, any of that.
Okay.
I do not want that to come within contact of my naked body.
It's too bad because you had no idea what I was planning on getting you for your birthday.
Hit me with it.
Well, okay, I will. Hang on.
No, but absolutely do not do that. You're grossing me out. Can we talk college basketball now? Like I'm not. We have lunch after this, so I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to do this.
Indiana and Purdue are in unique situations, and I'm going to begin with Purdue, Derek, because we talk so much about Indiana, and Purdue's had a wonderful season. It comes down now to basically one game for Purdue to try to get themselves at least a tie for the Big Ten championship. And I don't know that the number one seed is still in play for Purdue.
No, probably not. Yeah.
But there has been if they were to tie the Big Ten regular season and then win the Big Ten tournament, I could still see them being in play for the number one seed. But the reality is it was a crazy weekend in college basketball because Purdue loses and you think, oh, my goodness. But then, Kansas loses. That's why I'm wearing my St. Mary's shirt.
Yeah,
my
great
buddy,
win for Randy Bennett.
Randy Bennett, friend of the show, wins. So, you have Gonzaga losing. You have Auburn losing. You have basically everybody. Right?
Yeah, Kentucky.
So maybe that softens the blow a little bit for Purdue, but still a chance for them to save things, but they've got to get this one against Wisconsin.
Yeah, and the Big Ten title still matters at Purdue. I know that their fans want them to do well in March, and that's something that they haven't done a whole heck of a lot of. But I was having this conversation actually on Twitter this morning with Purdue fans. Every single great Purdue team won the league. 1932, obviously, the John Wooden team that won the Helms title, won the league. 69 with Mount that went to the Final Four, won the league. The Three Amigos in 88, won the league. 94, Big Dog, Konzo, won the league.
Fair.
2010, Hummel, Johnson, Moore, won the league.
Well, and I'll tell you, that really underrated group with Chad Austin and –
Well, yeah, even those mid-'90s teams won the league, too. And the
Cornell.
2019 team with Carson Edwards, team that should have been in the Final Four, they won the league. So unless this Purdue team is going to go to New Orleans – we've been hyping them up as one of the greatest Purdue teams ever assembled. If you don't have the league title and then you get bounced in like the Sweet 16, you're going to be viewed as a disappointment. You're not going to be viewed as one of the greatest Purdue teams. So I think that's where it comes into line. But this Michigan
the beginning
State
of the year, it felt like they were the best team in college basketball.
From over the weekend, this Michigan State result, I think largely is irrelevant outside of maybe the one seed discussion like you mentioned, because once they lost to Wisconsin at Mackey, it was always going to come down to beating Wisconsin in Madison.
But, Derek, had they beaten Michigan State, they'd be still in contention for the league title outright.
No, but if you lose to Wisconsin, it doesn't matter because they have 4 losses and you have 5. So it was always going to come down to this game.
Okay.
So that's why I don't want to say irrelevant. Irrelevant is not the right word, but it doesn't matter as much as this game was going to matter.
Have you ever thought about the fact that you don't like other people's hair in the shower? How much do you leave behind?
Well, I groom myself, so I make sure, like, before
you're like a Yeti. I mean, I guarantee, like, you're leaving stuff behind.
Well, I have a comb for that. So before I go into the shower, I kind of comb everything down.
And where does that go?
Well, it goes in the garbage eventually. But sometimes I have to take scissors and cut it out of the comb because a lot of hair gets in there.
You are honestly, for somebody who is such a germ phobe and yada, 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 you are one of the most disgusting people I know.
That is something that I do privately, though. That's not something I go into a Planet Fitness with my body hair comb and
I was not at a
cut
Planet,
all of the.
I was not at a Planet Fitness. The place I went was
all of that out.
I mean, steam room, eucalyptus steam, high lather shave that I got. I mean, the whole deal.
I mean, I do shed a lot of hair, but it's healthy to do that. Like, that's what you are supposed to do. It's like an animal shedding its coat. I am a human male, a man, and I shed. But I don't like shedding into somebody else's drain. I shed into my own drain, and then I take the big clump out, and then I dispose of it myself. I'm not grossed out by my own hair. In fact, it's very beautiful and manly and natural. Other people's hair, I don't want anywhere near me. That's what it comes down to.
Okay.
We could talk about Indiana as well.
Indiana, Derek, look, Minnesota, I mean, Indiana was probably lucky to get out of there alive, right, after leading by 27. Bottom line for Indiana, I think we know at this point, when Xavier Johnson's playing well, Indiana can beat some teams. Mm-hmm. It might be able to make, some Big Ten tournament noise. If Johnson's not playing well, because they haven't gotten outside consistent shooting and play from anybody else. I mean, consistently, right? Miller Kopp, one game here, there. Parker Stewart, one game here, there. Robert Finney, if he's healthy, okay. But Johnson, to me, they've got to get some sort of outside scoring and or consistency, and and Xavier Johnson's the one guy that can do it for him.
Yeah, I think with Indiana, I'm not even really worried about style points anymore. Just win. They were up 27 points at the 8-minute mark and almost lost that game, which is really hard to do.
Correct.
And it kind of underlines Indiana's big problem, and it's that they have no idea how to close out opponents. None. We saw it since we last talked. They've actually played 3 times because they played Monday night last week against Ohio State, and that was a game they absolutely should have won. And they had one of the worst 90 seconds to finish regulation that I've ever seen in my life of watching college basketball, like complete fetal position stuff, and then got dominated in overtime. But we talked about these 3 games: Maryland, Minnesota on the road, and a home game against Rutgers coming up here on Wednesday. You win these 3, you stay on the right side of the bubble.
Derek, do you get the impression, because I do, I really feel like the Indiana-Rutgers game, because Rutgers had this stretch where they beat 4 top, ranked teams, then they've fallen back a little bit. I don't think it's entirely unlikely that this Indiana-Rutgers game is the play-in game.
Well, I think Indiana can still recover. They would have to do something in the Big Ten tournament if they were to lose this game. So I think if you want to stay in control of your own destiny, Rutgers and Indiana are both viewing this game as a game that they have to stay in control of their own destiny. After that, you need help, I think, to get into the NCAAs.
Where were you? I'd like to know. Where are you showering that you have seen other people's toenails?
Can we just kind of stay
where would that,
on what we're talking about here?
What possibly, where would you have run into that?
I think what you're worried about if you're Rutgers is that we don't talk about the last 10.
Are you showering
anymore?
Like it?
That's not part of the selection committee's process, and I've been in that room, as I've mentioned many times on the show, so I know exactly what is on the table and what's off the table. But Rutgers now has lost 3 straight, I think, since that really hot run that they had.
Kind of backpedaled.
So
I don't know if their toenails fell off.
You want to stop the bleeding there from that standpoint.
Have you ever bled from cutting your toenails too close?
Indiana's not going to go to Mackey and win, right? We've talked about that. Coming up this weekend, they play each other in the regular season finale for both teams.
You don't know that. That's possible.
They're not going to win at Mackey.
They could.
They're not going to win at Mackey.
Okay.
So if you win this game against Rutgers, I still think you're on the right side of the bubble, where even a one-and-done performance, which Indiana seems to do every year in the Big Ten tournament, would put you in the conversation. You'd be sweating it out Selection Sunday, but would put you in that conversation.
What did Joe Lunardi say heading into Indiana's last 4 games of the year? 3 wins and they're in.
Yeah, and they've got 2 of them.
And they've gotten 2.
And now, look, I'm not saying that they're definitely a lock if they beat Rutgers.
If they lose to Rutgers,
but they would be on the right side of the bubble.
I know, but if they lose to Rutgers, it's gonna be tough.
It is. Well, you're gonna have to win 2 games in the Big Ten tournament.
My buddy
and
Dave,
Indiana never wins 2 games in the Big Ten tournament.
You've met my buddy Dave Steinberg, right?
Yeah, it's been a minute, but yeah.
He once was at a fast food restaurant. Not gonna say the name of the restaurant, and he got a chocolate milkshake. Everybody likes a chocolate milkshake, right? Why are you staring at me like that?
I already know where the story is going to go, and there was a fingernail in it or something.
He thinks it was a toenail, but yeah.
Okay.
Because it was the bigger size.
Okay.
At the bottom of the milkshake. Now, what would you have done?
You mean after forcing myself to vomit?
Would you have had to force yourself?
Oh yeah. I mean, it would have evacuated whatever was in there immediately.
He didn't consume the
Just
the nail.
my brain would send that signal to my stomach.
He did not consume the nail.
Evacuate.
He saw it at the bottom.
No, I know, but it would still evacuate everything that was surrounding that toenail. So all of the milkshake would come back out again.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awful. Luckily, I've never had like a really gross like takeout or fast food experience.
Now, I know somebody
like
once that ordered a salad at a restaurant and got halfway through it and there was a fork in the middle of it.
You had something
And I'm
happen
like,
to you with
they
a
recycled the
restaurant salad, didn't you? Am I thinking of somebody else?
Might have been the fork story.
I thought you had salad at a place. I don't want to blow it up here because this is the only place that would be near. I'm just not even going to say it because I don't want to put them.
Write it down.
I don't want to put them on place
can
on blast
write
here.
it down.
What am I going to write on? My hand?
Right on here.
Okay,
There you go.
here we go.
It's a wonderful pen, by the way.
This
Don't
has
drop
just
it.
been a really. I knew this was going to be a bad show, and this has been a bad show.
You know, look, March is upcoming, and it's the best time of year, no doubt about it. I do think that, Purdue's in. We know that. And this is going to be one of those years where, and I think Notre Dame's in. Notre Dame's had a good year. Mike Bray's done a nice job.
The ACC sucks.
With the Irish. The ACC may suck, Derek, but they've done a good job of turning things around. Notre Dame was left for dead like in late December. But I think Indiana, at this point, I do think Indiana's in, partially because I think the bubble's that soft.
But we always do this, Jake, where, you win a game on February 17th, and it's like, okay, yep, they're in, and then there's still 3 weeks to play. You win a game this week, and there's still the league tournament to play. And you can't look at this in a vacuum. How many bid stealers are there going to be? What if you have Georgetown again like they did last year, and they take a bid from somebody else? So,
or another league where that could happen? The Mountain West, because I told you I followed Wyoming a lot this year. The Mountain West suddenly is a 3-team league, believe it or not. Boise State's probably going to get in. Colorado State's going to get in. And Wyoming's going to get in. Well, what if all of a sudden UNLV or Nevada, Steve Alford's Nevada team, pop up and win the league, win the tournament?
Yeah, you just never know. And that's for Notre Dame and for Indiana. But I think the bar for me for Indiana has always been just make the tournament. And even for all the ups and downs and this near season-ending collapse that they went through with the 5-game losing skid, if they could just sneak into the at-large field, to me, that would be a nice step in the right direction.
I remember
for Mike Woodson.
I got a really slow service there once. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, sorry. Maybe that's what I'm mixing up because I thought you.
And I got really mad about it.
You had complained about this place several times.
Yes.
Okay.
Terrible.
So I didn't remember if it was a gross food thing or just a overall.
Other people love it, and I'm like,
service
yeah,
thing.
not good. Not good at all.
Okay.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan at all.
But am I right to say I don't want to put them on?
That's fair.
I don't want to put them on blast. I mean, there are thousands, tens of thousands of people who watch this show, so I don't want to. Anytime we say something, suddenly that business would surely close if we mention that.
And that one, yeah, I mean, that restaurant is associated with something that we do a lot of stuff with, kind of, so.
God, are we being cryptic enough with this?
We are. We're like Kyler Murray with his Instagram post, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
And the Colts, what does it mean, speaking of Instagram posts, what Carson Wentz posted? And do the Colts have some familiar faces back on West 56th, or are they about to? We'll get to all of that. We also have, of course, our Sage Move of the Week, Derek.
Yep.
Our Love That Play.
Mm-hmm.
We have Bite or Bull Schultz.
Stewart Tire and Automotive Quick Hits. Don't touch me.
Okay. What about with my fingernail?
No, that's even worse somehow.
I have did you see this? I've got like some sort of an ailment on my finger there.
Why would I want to look at your finger? Why would I want to do that?
I don't
We're
know.
grown men, like
because I have perfectly, beautifully manicured
All
hands.
right, are we breaking? Let's break. It's Corey and Schultz, IC Sports Network. Bye. We'll be back. No, not bye. We'll be back in a little bit. Stay tuned.
What are you doing here?
Whatever.
We're professional broadcasters, Derek.
It's weird.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Hi, welcome back to the very professional Query and Schultz program here on ISC Sports Network. My name is Jake Query, and over here is the very non-neurotic Derek Schultz. Derek, we have a lot to talk about today, and that includes getting to our Stewart Tire and Auto Service quick hits, right?
Yeah. Why are you being so robotic with that?
Because
hi, this is Query and
because
Schultz.
you were thoroughly and totally disgusting in our last segment talking about fingernails and body hair and puking.
You're the one that kept going to it.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
I was trying to have a discussion about Indiana's bubble, and you're like, toenail, body hair.
And by the way, when did you guys get the new sweatshirts? I like that.
Yeah, it's sharp, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Got some ISC swag.
What's
nice.
your T-shirt underneath?
Banana Republic clearance. Men's clearance.
Is that urine on it?
No. I didn't get that one in Kentucky. This was an online buy.
And what's it? Is it just a plain?
It's just a regular clearance. That's a damaged outlet that I go to in Kentucky. So there are things on it like maybe there are bodily fluids on it, but they're all laundered. So I did not buy those pants that had the urine stain on them.
Do you know that when I was in St. Petersburg over the weekend, I had a lovely dinner with my cousins, and my cousin Michelle is a banker, and her husband Joe, who's an awesome dude, he's from the East Coast like yourself. He just bought a laundromat, and so I decided that between the two of them, they are money launderers.
Let's get to quick hits. Stewart Tire and Automotive.
You know I haven't slept, right?
Our friends down on the south side on
I'm
13 Road in Indianapolis.
as the kids say. You know what I mean?
They can do anything and everything to your car. So, yes, it has tires in the name.
Darren likes when I'm
so you can get tires there.
on sleep deprivation because he says then I'm funny and witty.
And I got my tires for Ashley's Nissan Rogue at Stewart Tire and Auto. You got your tires.
I did.
And you tried to hang on. You tried to have Darren hang on to that Jeep Grand Cherokee for you. And he finally said, look, man, you've got to part with this thing.
He did.
Because that's the beauty about Darren and his guys and his crew at Stewart Tire and Automotive.
He could have forced me to pour a bunch of money into it, and he was honest.
They're going to be totally honest with you. So check them out on Facebook. You can go to the Stewart Tire and Automotive page at Stewart Tire and stop by the shop, stop 13 Road. I make the drive out of Midtown for both of our cars. Both
just north of Greenwood Park Mall.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that's the thing, Derek. Of any profession or like service industry that you want honesty, car repair and car mechanics number one, right? Mm-hmm. And they're going to treat you right.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about it.
And he sent me a birthday text, unlike some people.
What's that?
That are sitting right here. So before we get to the Colts, let's get to
How was I supposed to know it was your
our
birthday?
quick hits.
How was I supposed to know that?
Presented by Stewart Tire and Auto.
I've got a job, 2 of them.
This is somewhat Colts related, at least past Colts related. David Shaw, the Stanford head coach, who's still there, even though they've been really kind of crumbling here recently, gave an Andrew Luck update of sorts when he joined the Rich Eisen show the other day. The Indy Star wrote an article about it. That's what turned my attention to it. As we already know, Shaw said Luck was content with being a dad. Like we already know all that stuff. But I thought this comment was interesting, Jake, especially for you because you read deeply into everything. This is a direct quote about what Andrew Luck is going to do next because he's been out of football for a couple of years and he's a young man, so he's going to do something, right? He's not just going to be a stay-at-home dad. Quote, whenever he jumps into the next venture, he wants to help people and make an impact in our society. That's all I'm comfortable saying right now.
Okay.
Well, does that mean that he knows specifically what it's going to be?
Or that he's going to run for office?
Because if you're saying that's all I'm comfortable saying right now, that leads me to believe that you know, or at least have an idea of what that next venture is going to be, and you don't want to spoil it.
Well, one thing I will say about Andrew Luck, and out of respect to Andrew Luck and his wife, I'm not going to say where, I happen to know of one philanthropic organization in Indianapolis that Andrew Luck is very involved. I mean, very involved. And like having meetings, monthly and that kind of thing. And one of the contingencies for his involvement is that he doesn't want people to know about it.
Oh, wow.
So it may be that David Shaw
is talking about that organization.
Is saying, hey, I know that he wants to do some charity things and some philanthropy things, but I'm not comfortable saying what it is. Kind of like what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
And that's commendable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, he's got $50 million, Derek.
Yeah.
Does he really need to go back to work?
But it is nice that people want to.
What would you do if
help other people and not toot their own horn about it?
Totally.
Look at what I'm doing.
Well, there's nothing more tiresome than when somebody does it as some sort of a make good, right? Well, what do you mean? I mean, you can say that about me, but let me show you the good things I've done. Okay.
Yeah, every time you're in trouble, it pops up. Hey, don't forget that I do this.
If you're keeping a tally, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. But, if the radio station that you and I worked, and I'm surprised it didn't happen, quite frankly, but when they decided to move on from us, if they had given us a $25 million severance package.
Mine was slightly under that.
Would you be working?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm one of those people that I'll be a greeter at Myers when I'm 85. God willing, if I live that long. When I wake up in the morning.
What would you say if I come in shopping?
I need to, good morning, sir. Welcome to Myers.
It's Meyer.
Yeah, Myers.
Well, it's Meyer first off. And if you're 85?
Apostrophe S.
How old are you now?
I'm 39.
So if you're 85, I'd be 95.
Yeah, and with your heart, we've talked about this. You probably, the over-under that I gave last year, I think, was 9.5 years. So we're now to 8.5 years. If you live to see the Colts get a franchise quarterback, I think you're doing pretty well. I think you've done pretty well if you live that long. But no, when I wake up in the morning, I need to have a purpose. I need to have a reason to get up and a function. What
if your purpose is to let out your 8 rescue dogs on your Wyoming ranch?
Yeah, I'm not a good vacationer. I'm just not good relaxing. I took that job at Amazon, Jake, not because I needed the money. We were lucky enough to be in a good financial situation. We had savings and all of that. I took it because I needed to get the hell out of the house.
I get it.
I needed to have a reason to shower and have a punch card and all of that.
Speaking of punch card, it's quick hits.
Yeah, quick hit number 2. Sorry, I didn't mean to get too off track. We're supposed to do these quickly. Rest in peace to Dick Versace, the 81-year-old passed away. Was it Friday or over the weekend maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I know it came out Saturday morning. Dick Versace, in the 1990 season, I think it might have been the 88-89 season, the Pacers went over 500 for the first time since the beginning of the decade in 80-81. Versace was only with the Pacers for 2 years. He was a legendary figure at Bradley University. That's really where he made his name. And certainly, and then he went on and worked in the front office for the Vancouver Grizzlies.
He was the number 2 to Jerry West.
Mm-hmm. And he had fabulous hair.
Yep.
Certainly a unique personality, a huge vocabulary. He was a very well-spoken guy. But nonetheless, passing away at the age of 81. He had a daughter who lived here in the Indianapolis area. And so condolences to the friends and family.
I just feel like we never really heard it. It was a very short stint. We never really heard anything. I feel like I have some baseline knowledge of Bob Hill or, Dr. Jack Ramsey, who's also not with us, or, Jim O'Brien, obviously, and all these guys that had short or somewhat forgettable tenures as head coach. But I knew Dick Versace because of the basketball cards. The first set that I collected was 89 hoops, and they used to make coach cards for that.
I think Dick Versace, part of his tenure here, Derek, was a little bit overshadowed by the folly, if you will, of he was also, along with Donnie Walsh, a big endorser of the George McLeod draft pick and making George McLeod a point guard, and it just did not work out, and that kind of soured things from the get-go.
Regardless, 81 is a good run. Like we said, if Jake hits 81, he's certainly above what the current projections are. Quick hit number 3, in a shocking move, Did you see this with Marpet, the offensive lineman? He's 28 years old for the Buccaneers.
Yep.
First highest drafted Division III player ever. So it's actually like a really cool story. Division III draft pick, 61st overall in 2015, became a Pro Bowler last year and is considered one of the better guards in the entire league. Retiring.
Right.
Just said, I'm good. Leaving $10 million on the table. And I think there's something to this.
Do you blame him? I mean, $10 million would be hard to walk from.
I don't remember if it was Joe Thomas or some other offensive lineman that says, look, it's just different. Like when you're a wide receiver, you feel like you want to hang on for, like T.Y. Hilton probably feels like he wants to hang on a little bit longer. When you're an offensive lineman and it's a high-speed car wreck every single play.
Well, that's it. I mean, if you're a receiver, Derek, and you know that they're not throwing you a lot of options, you're only going to get hit so many times a game. A lot of it's just running routes. A lineman, different story, man.
I just think this is the new thing. I don't want to say that 28-year-olds retiring will ever be common. I don't think it'll be common, but I think we'll deal with this every single year.
CTE.
Where Anthony Costanzo at 30 just says, you know what, I'm good. I played 10 years, whatever. I got enough money. I'm good. I want to do something else. I want to.
By the way, my ear just itched and I did this. Do you know what
physically.
TV person used to do this as a symbol to their friends?
Jeff Hornacek?
No, that was this, right? No, that was that. This was
He was a creep show.
Brian Cardinal was this.
I hated those Jazz
Hornacek
teams.
was this.
Those Bulls-Jazz finals were really hard for me because I just
hated both teams?
I wanted the building to implode. Yeah.
Okay, that's
I
it.
hated Jordan and the Bulls, and I hated those Jazz teams.
Carol Burnett did this, and I think Johnny Carson did too.
That girl? Dun, 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 dun. That girl. She throws her hat up in the air?
No, that's Mary Tyler Moore.
Carol Burnett?
Yeah, Carol Burnett is
the TV.
No, that was that Dick Van Dyke. But anyway, the Carol Burnett show, it's the caricature of her mopping at the beginning. It was a sketch comedy show.
And they're city people, but they live in the country now.
No, that's Green Acres, and that's one of the Gabors.
Gabor? I'm trying to keep up. I mean, you drop these references from like 60 years ago, and you expect me to know, and I'm like, I might have some baseline. Like, I've heard the name Carol Burnett. Like, I'm familiar with some of the...
Vicki Lawrence. Are you familiar with Vicki Lawrence? Mama's Family. Ken Burns.
Ken Burns documentaries, I know.
I'm sorry, Ken Berry.
No, I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Was he the dad in... No, that was Tony Danza was the dad in Who's the Boss, right?
Well, he wasn't the dad. He was the dad of... Yes, I take that back. No, he wasn't the dad. He was the housekeeper. Right?
What? No, you're thinking of Brady Bunch. That was a female.
He had a kid, I think, and then the Judith Light had a kid, and he was the housekeeper. And I think there was... I don't know if it was ever suspected that he and the Judith were hooking up. I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of that show. My buddy Chris Fargus was in love with Alyssa Milano and was in her fan club.
And then he did, when he was younger, he was in Happy Days. He was the boyfriend.
No, that's Scott Baio. He played Chachi in Happy Days, and then was in Charles in Charge. That's Scott Baio.
Tony Danza was Charles in Charge.
No, Scott Baio was Charles in Charge. Tony Danza was.
Right, well, maybe we'll talk late 20th century or early 21st century stuff eventually on the show, which is much more captivating than this.
Do we have another quick hit? I'm sure Darren.
No, we're all done with the quick hits. That was the slowest quick hit segment that we've ever had. Completely off topic.
You're like Matthew's sloth that I thought should have been named Derek.
You had tweeted about you had teased about the Colts.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and do that in the next segment.
Okay.
We'll talk Colts, additions to the coaching staff, the Wentz Instagram post. It's Combine week. I don't want to dive too far into the weeds there, but we'll have some Colts for you when we come back.
I'm not a Combine guy. Okay.
It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Stick around.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Welcome back. It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Thanks for hanging with us today on another Monday. I don't know. You could be watching this on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, or if you're Jonah in Arizona, you're watching this in May of 2023. So we appreciate you watching whenever you're watching this show, whether it be on ISC, Comcast 81, our YouTube channel.
Did you see that
Twitter,
Matthew,
Facebook,
our Maine correspondent, and by Maine I mean the state of Maine, bought a stuffed sloth?
We have several stuffed sloths at our house.
Really?
Yeah. It's my wife's favorite animal.
No, I mean like a taxidermied sloth.
Oh, no, we don't have one of those. Yeah, we have like stuffed animal
I'm
sloths.
just kidding. It's a stuffed animal sloth. And he was asking for name suggestions, and I said Derek, because it's your favorite animal.
Yeah.
And he went with some different name.
Well, it doesn't really, none of the traits of a sloth really fit me. Like, they're kind of slow and lazy. I'm deceptively quick and a hard worker.
You have the same hairy level on your back with that ridge.
I don't have any back hair at all. It's funny that you mentioned that. You're the one that has back hair. We got it waxed one time. Remember we went to Naked Monkey, like when we first started?
Yeah, that was, they had to put ointment on the back afterwards.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, it was a horror show, really, is what it was. But I'm lucky. Like, I do have body hair, which I am proud of, but it stays, it's very well groomed, and it stays where it should stay. It doesn't venture off onto my shoulders or whatever else. Sometimes I got to trim my ears up a little bit. It gets a little over the line there. But no back hair. And I have a proud mane of chest hair, which I've shown on this show many times.
Obviously, Derek, anytime that you decide to go ahead and get rid of that mane, you're making sure that your sinks are unclogged. But your sinks are beautiful, right?
They are. In fact, we're getting a new one, thanks to our friends at Chateau Kitchens. Well, we got to get a new vanity for the bathroom.
14th sink you've gotten from them, but that's okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is sink number, I don't know.
But with the work they do, why would you not have them continue to do different things?
Yeah, and they custom made it too, which is cool because we're in a 100-year-old house, and it has a laundry chute, and we want to keep the laundry chute.
Yeah.
And so they did a vanity that's got like a drawer to hit it in the laundry chute. So it's going to be James's bathroom, essentially, because it's right across the hallway from his room. And looking forward to that project starting really soon. And if you're if you're even thinking about a project, you got to go to chateaukitchens.com right now or contact them now, because right now things are crazy for everybody, right? And you got to get in the queue and get things going and get everything planned out. And they're very meticulous with the planning and the project management from design all the way until the first sledgehammer hits the drywall. And we can't wait to start another project with Chateau. On a personal note, Stephen, the owner, and his fiance are going through something right now. So keep both of them in the Chateau family in your thoughts. Something sudden and hopefully we just want to know that we're extending our support from this show for what they're going through.
Hope the best for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Derek, the Colts could have some familiar faces back inside West 56, notably, and somebody had sent me this last week. I think I might have mentioned it here, but then it appears to be growing a little bit of momentum. The possibility, I don't think it's a certainty yet, but the possibility that Reggie Wayne could be joining the Colts as a wide receiver coach.
Yeah, I thought his reaction on Twitter was kind of interesting. Like, hey, wait, what's happening here? Like, I almost read it as, wait, is this out of nowhere? Zach Kiefer, our buddy from The Athletic, is pretty well tuned in. So if he says that the Colts are pushing for that, I can believe him. But I can understand why Reggie would be like, hey, man, I'm in Miami 12 months a year now. I get to wake up at 10 a.m. and ride my bike and have it be 80 degrees all year long. Remember what he told us all the time, and we were, and still are. I mean, I consider Reggie Wayne a good friend. So we're close. But he had always said in our last conversation, which was around 2014, that he hated the winters. And I knew that he wanted to kind of move on from that. So we'll see. Cato June was a very, very popular player in that locker room. Yeah. And I would think that Reggie Reggie would like to be reunited with him. I had kind of forgotten that Mike Mitchell had played here.
Yeah,
until it was a one-and-done season.
I think a lot of people might get him confused with Mike Adams, right?
Yeah.
Who was a good player.
Probably, yeah. But I mean, Adams stuck around. Adams played here, what, 4 years?
Mitchell was a nice player, a plug-in player, basically.
Yeah. Was that his last NFL season?
Yes.
It was Andrew Luck's last year, so 2018. But it was one of those, like, oh, yeah, Mike Mitchell was here for a year. Like, I didn't necessarily link those things up when I saw the report. Look, we're talking about the assistant linebackers coach and the assistant secondary coach.
Right,
so
understood.
At the end of the day, what kind of impact are they going to have? But I do find it interesting with all the negativity in the offseason that now these widely celebrated and popular moves just kind of pop up. Like, hey, guess what? Look who we're adding the coaching staff, because obviously the fans have been really upset with how the season ended.
It would be a sage move if they were to hire like a Reggie Wayne, just based on, I agree with you from an X's and O's standpoint, who knows. But in terms of a popular player bringing him back, Cato June as well, it would definitely be that. Now, that's not to say it's our sage move of the week, right?
Oh, are we doing sage move of the week?
Yes, that's a transition, Derek.
I didn't know we were
our sage move of the week, by the way, which
I
Derek
want to make sure that Alan and Greg and everybody behind the glass.
What
okay, I'm getting the thumbs up. I just want to make sure everything was fine.
Listen,
you just kind of pull this stuff out of nowhere.
You know why?
Oh, because
let me tell you, folks, what I just did. What I just did was a move, a sage one at that. And those that work behind the scenes here, who should be right in the front of the scenes, Greg, Alan, Jordan, working so hard right here, they're with me. They were along the wavelength of what I was doing because, A, we'd talked about it and planned it, and B, it was very sage. Okay. By the way,
look, there's the owl.
Did you know there's the owl right there because ambition never rests. WGU Indiana is the largest online accredited university in the state of Indiana. You know, there are over 700,000 Hoosiers who have college credits out there waiting to be completed. They don't have an expiration date. The time is now. Maybe life got in the way. Maybe it was finances. It's certainly understood. But if you are looking to go back to school, or maybe for the very first time deciding that it's time to advance your career or just simply pursue a dream by getting a college education, WGU Indiana is the place for you. Again, wguindiana.edu. And the beauty of it is you work on your own schedule. You can come, you can take the classes online and work when it is free for you and obtain that goal of a college degree. Derek, our sage move of the week this week is?
Let me scroll down here because I had this later in the notes because I wasn't planning on doing it right now. Sage move of the week is something that you already mentioned, and it's the movement in college basketball's top tier because you had not only the top 6 in order go down on the same day, but 7 of the top 9.
Duke, the only in the top 7 to not be defeated over the weekend.
I found it interesting that they were all on the road.
Yep.
So just to have, a lot of people say, well, this has never happened before. And I'm thinking to myself, how often have the top 6 teams in the country all played on the same day on the road? Like, that doesn't seem like something that would happen. So all of the road teams that won had a lot on the line.
Right.
And I think that that's part of it, too. St. Mary's always has something on the line because they essentially have a one-game season. If they beat Gonzaga, then they get in the tournament. If they don't, then they have a harder time getting in the tournament.
There we go. Hold on. There we go. Randy Bennett, his mom living in Southport. Great dude. The Gales, baby.
How funny was that we talked to, if you're not a longtime listener or knower of this show, I guess, in 2018 we went to the Final Four in San Antonio, and we have all kinds of coaches on in 2018, and very rarely do any of them have a tie to Indiana, and I certainly didn't think Randy Bennett was going to be one of them. Randy Bennett comes over to our table. We've never met him or talked to him before.
All we knew is they were
he doesn't know us from Cheech and Chong.
They were the only reason we had him on is because they had been like 27-3 that year, and you either were adamant
they missed the tournament,
and you were either saying they should or should not have been in. I can't remember which it was.
They shouldn't have been in because their whole MO was to play no one. They'd play like Colorado in their Pac-12.
So we had him on
as their non-conference game. And
we had him on to discuss exactly that, and he was super cool.
And he was super cool, and then I kind of became like a St. Mary's fan. I used to be kind of like, these guys play a bunch of cupcakes, and they go 25-5 against nobody.
So Randy Bennett, the head coach at St. Mary's, his father was a high school coach in Indiana. His mother still lives in Southport.
Yeah. But he just offered that like almost like matter of fact. I think we were like halfway through the conversation. He's like, well, my mom lives off of Southport Road. And we're like, what? Okay, wow, cool. But you went to visit him on one of your IndyCar trips.
Yeah, he's great.
And it was a great atmosphere. And, for all the complaints about Gonzaga's league, that's a tough game to play because that's St. Mary's Super Bowl, essentially.
By the way, WGU.edu/Indiana, the website for WGU.
But people are like,
well,
what does this mean? I don't think it means anything. I think it meant 7 teams went on the road and got beat. Like, can Gonzaga still win the whole thing? Sure.
Shows the parity of college basketball,
Duke,
right?
Purdue, any of those teams can still win the whole thing.
The other thing we need to discuss, Derek, is the Carson Wentz Instagram post of him working out with a couple of Colts receivers and people reading into that of like, see, his teammates love him. He's a great teammate. I'm not saying he's a bad guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know that he commands the respect in the locker room like most quarterbacks do. And people can tell me that that's wrong. That's fine. I believe there's a reason the owner of the Colts is adamantly trying to get rid of him.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if Carson Wentz is a Colt next season.
Right.
Really surprised. Every single sign that's out there, Jake, said,
well,
unsaid,
Derek,
whispered,
unless
not
they're stuck
whispered.
with him. Unless they're stuck with him.
They're going to move on. They're going to move on no matter what.
But what's their option?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
I don't think it matters. I think they would rather not know than have Wentz back. I hear you, and that was my takeaway. When they were leaving Jacksonville, my thought was, okay, this is a 2-year thing, and he's going to get his second year. But with everything that's happened in the month since, I would be stunned if he's back.
When you say everything that's happened, meaning what?
All the post-game press conferences where Ballard and Reich seem to go out of their way to not mention him by name.
True.
Everything that Irsay has done, and he's the main signal caller here, right? He's the owner of the team. It just – even Jacoby Brissett, after 2019, and I think we knew that Jacoby Brissett was not going to be the starter in 2020.
Right.
Even coming off of that season, it felt like the Colts had more positive things to say about the potential of Brissett being their starter.
Fair.
So, I'm trying to add it all up and as the classic Jake Query term, read the tea leaves. And the tea leaves to me are saying that regardless of who the replacement is, Carson Wentz won't be QB1 here in 2022.
Did you already mention Bailey & Wood as our presenting sponsor? By the way?
Yeah, we should. We should actually mention them all the time because they're really, really good.
And I'll tell you what, I mean, home owning.
Yeah.
And getting a mortgage right now, rates are changing, right?
They are. And if you're Carson Wentz, you probably have to worry about where those rates are going to be because you're going to have to move here pretty soon. So if you want to do that, call BAWFG.com or 855-350-HOME and get with our friends at Bailey & Wood Financial Group.
Can you say the phone number again?
855-350-HOME. They just opened a store in Florida as well. I think Boca Raton, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But they have 13 Indiana branch locations. They are Indiana's mortgage lender. And yes, Mike Wood is a big Dolphins fan, so that's where the tie-in with Florida comes in, but they are Indiana through and through.
We still have yet to get to Beider, Bull-Schultz, and big news potentially in Major League Baseball.
Potentially.
Okay.
Probably not.
I know.
This is going to get strung out.
Think so?
For a long time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't think so?
I don't know. We'll discuss next. How's that?
Sounds good.
All right. Query and Schultz.
Oh, we both did it at the same time.
Yeah, you owe me a Coke.
You owe me one.
Calling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is
God! There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
Wrestler! Whoa! Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Welcome back to Query and Schultz here on ISC Sports Network. We can tell you, by the way, Derek, we were just discussing college basketball. Gonzaga stays as your number 1 team. Arizona is second. Baylor and Duke rounding out the top 4. The Boilermakers of Purdue have fallen to 8th.
Yeah.
8th in college. Still on the 2-seed line, probably, right?
Beat Wisconsin. You get a share of the league. That is like status number 1, and then we'll just kind of go from there. The Big Ten tournament to me has always been
Right.
Whatever.
Well,
But
the Big Ten tournament, all you got to do is get to the finals.
Yeah.
Because it goes right up against the selection show, so a lot of times they don't factor in the winner of it.
And Purdue's done that a handful of times.
Right.
I just feel like this was always going to be kind of the year where it was going to be demanded that you make a run. And it sucks because it's so hard to do. It's really hard to make a Final Four and have the luck and circumstance with it. And I hate leaving it all up to a single elimination tournament, but the stars were aligning for Purdue to have this special group, and they need to maximize that.
That's fair. On Love Heating and Air Conditioning, and I love their logo, pardon the pun.
Yeah, me too.
Is this supposed to just be the light glistening off of it? Is that what that is?
It's an eyeball, isn't it?
Does it mean that it's, you think that's an eyeball?
I don't know, like a red eyeball.
Do you think that it's
looking at your heater?
Is it red eye to
an air conditioning unit?
Because they're 24 hours?
I don't know. I don't
24
know.
24-hour on-call maintenance, so
yeah,
the red
maybe.
eye comes out and can look at it?
The important thing to me is the family owned and operated for 100 years.
Over 100 years. How do you last that long? Very simple. Great product, customer service, knowledge of that product, great prices. That's what you get with Love Heating and Air. It's like I talked about with Darren King earlier. Family-owned businesses last because of the connection with you, the customer. They make you feel like family. They treat you like family. That's what you get from Love Heating and Air. Furnaces, air conditioners, one of those things that people all the time, how often do you say it to yourself? The furnace went out. I have no idea what to do. You need to make sure that you have somebody that's going to come out, that's going to look at it, that's going to get you up and running, who's going to do so with fairness. And that's what you get from Love Heating and Air Conditioning. Love-HVAC.com is the website. 317-353-2141 is their telephone number. That's love-hvac.com, the absolute best in customer service. Derek, our Love That Play, our favorite play from the weekend this week's winner is?
Not a play, but just kind of sometimes we just take it as a moment or an accomplishment. Right. Congratulations to the Noblesville girls basketball team.
Excellent.
Great state finals run, and they did so by beating all of the top teams in front of them. They were number 5 in the final regular season poll. They beat number 7 Fishers, who they avenged the regular season loss against, and then beat number 1, number 2, and number 4.
And they got a shout-out from Tyrese Halliburton of the Pacers.
Yeah,
who was
watching pretty cool. Yeah, Shade, their top player who's heading to UConn, got a shout-out from Tyrese Halliburton.
Number 5 recruit in the country, right?
Oh, is she that high? Yeah. Wow. I mean, she's going to UConn. I mean, that speaks
player,
for itself, right?
Yeah.
But UConn's come in here in the past before. Kelly Ferris, who played at Heritage Christian, went to UConn.
That's right.
I'm sure they've had other Indiana players, but that's the most recent one that I can remember.
When you were at UConn, if you were a student there, if you want to go, take a trip into the city during the summertime, let's say, you'd watch the Mets or the Yankees.
Well, you'd probably go to Boston from up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it might be the same exact. It's a pretty close distance.
You can go to Fenway,
it's not close
to
New
Red
York.
Sox.
Yeah,
but will you be able to see that this year?
I don't know. I think so. I like to think when push comes to shove that we'll have a season.
What's the main issue here? We're talking about Major League Baseball's on a lockout.
There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things. The players want the minimum salaries raised. The owners don't want to do that, or they want to raise them very minimally. The competitive balance tax, which is essentially the luxury tax,
right?
They're looking for adjustments there because players don't want, I think, these teams to be penalized because they want the exorbitant contracts because they want to maximize whatever their value is. This expanded playoff, the players are using that as a bargaining chip because, yeah, we'll do that, but you've got to budge on some other things, and the owners aren't willing to budge on some other things. So it's not one thing. It's a lot of different things, and it seems like they're far apart from everything.
There is kind of a moving deadline, right?
Well, the owners are saying today, we're taping this right now on Monday, is an ultimatum of sorts before they start canceling games, but the players have to agree to that. Right. So they're not really in a position to make ultimatums.
Why does baseball do this to themselves, Derek? I mean, just when baseball starts to, people start to get excited about it, and then boom, boom. This happens all the time, seemingly.
I think what the core of it is, and look, I think people know this. I've not really touched on it because this isn't much of a baseball show. This is a basketball and football show. But I am pretty staunchly anti-owner when it comes to this stuff. So take that, I just want to give a full disclosure there. But I think what a lot of it is that the owners want to have their cake and eat it too. They don't want to absorb any of the risk of loss, and you always have the risk of loss.
I never understood that phrase. Wouldn't it be give your cake away but eat it too? Like if you have it, of course you're going to eat it. What does that mean?
I don't know what it means. I don't even know the origin of that. But people know what that saying is.
But doesn't it sound weird?
It does sound a little.
For what other purpose would you have your cake?
I don't know.
But to eat it, right?
Yeah. I really don't know. But these owners cry poor, like Ricketts in Chicago, saying, well, we took monumental losses or whatever else.
From that let them eat cake?
And my stand is, okay, show us. Open up your books then. And these owners don't want to do that because they hide all of their investments and everything else. And, you can this idea that somehow, and Jake, you talk about this all the time, somehow owners are affected by ticket sales. They're not affected by ticket sales at all. The ticket sales are the cherry on top of the sundae. These owners make money.
The cherry on top of the
Lucas
sundae.
Oil Stadium could be empty every Sunday, and Jim Irsay is still going to make money.
I'm looking up the origin of this.
I want you to participate in this discussion, though, because I know that
this is important stuff about the cake.
I know you agree with me here, and you've talked about this, so I want you to back it up, too, because I just – the people that paint this as, okay, well, it's billionaires versus millionaires, there are a lot of players that the minimum salary in Major League Baseball is well short of $1 million. So there are a lot of players that aren't anywhere close to being millionaires. They're paid well, but they have to maximize that window, especially if they're a bit player.
It comes from the year 1538 in a letter from Thomas, Duke of Norfolk, to Thomas Cromwell in 1538.
I don't think that baseball is dying or baseball
that's believed to be the origin.
Will ever be dead. But I do think what we're seeing is that baseball is just kind of drifting off. Baseball, to me, is becoming like the NHL is, where it is relevant and it matters in markets where there are teams. It is not relevant and it does not matter in other places.
Just said man cannot have his cake and eat his cake. And then later that morphed into have his cake and eat it too. But I don't see what exactly, why he said that phrase.
But another work stoppage obviously would be a big, big problem.
John Davies in 1611 used it in Scourge of Folly. So then it really took off.
Move on from that, but revenue sharing too. Okay. And this idea, well, all you got to do is put a salary cap on it. Well, it's not that simple. That's still, if you put a cap on it, you're still harming the players because that's taking money out of the players' pockets and controlling costs for the owners.
Considered the most common way of saying it, and that's been since the 1940s.
But I'll say this, and maybe you take it with a grain of salt again. Like I want to be transparent here with how I feel. I am also a Yankee fan, so you could take that for whatever it's worth. But the bigger problem to me in baseball is not the Yankees and Red Sox and Dodgers and Cubs and Mets. Like that's been painted as the big problem. Oh my God, like these spenders. This is the issue with baseball, and these little guys like Pittsburgh, they can't compete. Pittsburgh can't compete because they choose not to compete.
Ted Kaczynski,
Bob Nutting chooses not to put a competitive team on the field.
Do you remember the Unabomber?
His payroll is embarrassing.
His manifesto said
that's the problem in baseball.
Can't have their cake
because he doesn't care.
Too.
He just wants to cash his revenue sharing check. He is not invested at all in putting a good product out on the field. And yes, of course, the Yankees and Dodgers generate more revenue than the Pittsburgh Pirates. But that doesn't mean that they should have a payroll that is like 1/10 the payroll of these other teams.
In a letter to his mom explaining why he was going to prison, Ted Kaczynski also used the phrase, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
We've got Buyer or Bull Bleep coming up next, and we will wrap up this edition of Query and Schultz.
Let me see if I can find that.
ISC Sports.
I didn't really tell the origin, though,
Not participating anymore.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
and speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is good.
There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
Wrestler! Wrestler!
Whoa!
Hey, welcome back to Query and Schultz here on ISC Sports Network. My name is Jake Query. Derek Schultz, the other person that you see on this program. And every once in a while, we like to bring special guests to the show. It's been a while since we've done this before we get to Byron Bullschultz. But Derek, you like old friends, right?
It depends. Anytime you pose a question like this and you get excited, it means it's something that is going to be something that I don't like.
No, Dave Revson.
Okay, yeah, sure. I love Dave
right?
Revson, yeah.
Stephen Holder.
Yeah, great guy.
Zach Kiefer.
Yep, neighbor, Midtown neighbor of mine.
Valerie.
Yep, Valerie's great. One of our most loyal listeners.
Numerologist, right?
That's right.
You know what? It's been a while since we've had.
What's that?
Why don't you go ahead and look that way, and we'll let it.
You want me to?
It's not Sage. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, well, I know what that sound is. I don't even have to look at it. I know what that sound is.
It's time for a squeaky. This is a beautiful painting, isn't it? I think I'm going to take that home.
Okay.
It's beautiful. It looks good in my bedroom.
Did we not throw that? I put that out in the dumpster. Did they not take it? Or did you dig that out? Or did Rake dig that out?
This looks like is this a Rothschild?
We're supposed to throw that away.
I'd like to know if anybody knows.
Here's the origin, real quick, because I don't want to spend any more time on this than I have to, of Squeaky the Clown. So this painting was sent to us at our old office. We would get mail every once in a while. We'd get like T-shirts and swag and fan mail every once in a while.
Fan mail, yeah.
But we both had mailboxes there, and I came to my office one day. It was a holiday, which was weird that it was sitting outside. It was actually outside our entrance, and it was wrapped in like, shopping bag, paper bag, that sort of packaging, and it had no label on it. It just said Derek Schultz, 6161 Fall Creek, whatever, NDE, and our address.
It's beautiful.
And so, I picked it up and felt the frame, so I knew that it was some sort of painting. So I thought that it was like, I remember, was it Occasional Caller Keith? Somebody got us like an Indy 500 frame thing, which was kind of cool that we hung up in the studio for a while. So I thought it was something like that. So it's a holiday, and I'm alone in the building. And it's like 10 a.m. on whatever it was, Labor Day or something like that. And I open it up, and I hadn't even turned the lights on in the office yet. And I turn the lights on and see that hideous face and the balloon animals. You called it Squeaky because he's got balloon animals in it. And I still don't know who sent that to me.
Right.
I still have no idea.
I don't see any balloon animals.
I called IMPD. They weren't interested in investigating it.
Yeah, why would they?
Well, I thought it was threatening.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a public figure, so you can get threats as a public figure. And I thought that this was the idea of a threat because no one that knew me would send this.
Look at that. Look at that.
It's blocking our logo.
That's fine.
So let's go ahead and take that.
Hold on.
Let's
it only is blocking one.
And break it.
Hold on. It's only blocking one part of the logo.
No, well, we're definitely not doing that.
Okay, there we go.
No,
there
we're
we
definitely,
go.
We're definitely
Query and Squeaky. Look, Derek, it's perfect. It's Query and Squeaky. Look at the Bailey Wood folk are going to love that. What are you doing?
Like, it's not a joke anymore. I don't want this, okay?
Look at the way you're touching that.
Just let's get through the last segment of the show and then we're done for today. I'm losing patience.
We had it right there.
On this. We had a discussion about MLB. You didn't want to do that. Now you bring out the death clown, whatever. I don't want to do that. You're talking about toenails and touching me and body hair and the truck shower. I don't want to do that. Let's just do bite or bold bleep and let's get the hell out of here.
In the face.
Okay? No, I'm not getting red. I am perfectly controlled. I'm just letting you know that suddenly I'm starting to feel threatened. And when that happens, you have to tread very lightly.
It's a clown.
You have to tread very lightly, okay?
Okay. Well, you go ahead.
I put up with a lot on this show. I have reached my limit on what I'm going to put up with.
I want to take Squeaky home with me, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, don't get it near me, and that's fine. You can take Squeaky. Nobody can hear you because you're not near a microphone because you move around all the time.
Okay.
So I don't know. No one has any idea what you're saying. They're only listening to me.
Go ahead.
All right, bite or bowl bleep. Let's just do this, and thank God it's not sponsored, so we can just kind of mail it in. Here's what we do. I give a statement. Jake and I go back and forth whether we buy it or it's bowl bleep.
And squeaky.
Ready? Statement 1. The NFL Combine is a waste of everyone's time. Buy it or bowl bleep.
No, Derek, I totally buy that. Listen, the NFL Combine, I get it. It's summer chapter for coaches and general managers to all hang out at the steakhouse. And, Coach, you good? You good, Coach? Yeah, you good? Yeah, I'm good. And in the beginning years of the Combine, it was, this is the most important thing ever. I mean, all the critical stuff happens here. Everything goes on at the Combine. It's huge. And then they realized, wait a minute, we can monetize this. And everybody got curious about it, and like 100 people got allowed in one year. And they all went, well, that was the most boring thing ever. Nothing happened. There's a bunch of guys running around in Speedos and offensive linemen doing broad jumps. And then they realized they could put it on TV and make a bunch of money and advertising off of it, and they did so, and it was just over the top. And look, I know that it's important to people, I do get, I mean, from a medical standpoint, it's an excellent opportunity to evaluate and make sure that, and some guys, it saves their life. I mean, if they find heart issues and stuff, so there is a lot of good that comes from it. I just think that it got a little bit overrated in terms of how significant it was.
Yeah, I mean, bull bleep then that it's a waste of everyone's time. It's not a waste of time. It's just overemphasized to the 100th power how important it is. And I went 2 years ago with a fan ticket, my buddy Scott McCauley, and it was I'd rather sit in the dentist waiting office.
Really?
Yeah, I was so bored. And I look, I don't eat, breathe, sleep NFL like the other people that were there. Like they're wearing their jerseys of their favorite team and the whole deal. Like right. I'm just like, what am I doing here? And
did you say it was a clown show?
I mean, you're there all week, aren't you? Like doing the show?
I'm there Wednesday, Thursday. I leave town Friday. I'm going out of town Friday.
Does Kevin just do solo?
Matt Taylor's doing it with him.
Okay. They haven't invited me yet when you're gone. Well, it's a little bit surprising to me.
I don't tell you.
Well, you know, I withdrew from that search, so I was, and I don't want to hurt your feelings with it. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled for you, and I think you're a perfectly adequate radio host. But I think that there was somebody that was number one on their list, and then, like, if it's the Colts quarterback search, I'm Aaron Rodgers, and you're, I don't know, Teddy Bridgewater. Like I'm only available if I make myself available, and I'm number one on the list. But they know that they have the fallback in Bridgewater if it needs to be him.
I'm tired. Did we discuss the Carson Wentz Instagram post?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
You had mentioned it real quick about people being like, "See, he's going to be back," and I don't think that means that at all. It just means he's going to work out. Statement 2: Bite or bowl bleep. Gonzaga has too big of an advantage playing in a league that does not challenge them. Bite or bowl bleep.
No.
Kind of a weird topic coming off a loss, but
yeah, no, I think that's bullshit, Dirk, because Gonzaga does challenge themselves enough in the off. I mean, look, Gonzaga's been to however many, if you look at their tournament record, I know they haven't won it, but they've knocked
last 6 years is really good.
I mean, they've been and Gonzaga, give them credit. They go outside the league and they play people. They'll play anybody that'll play them.
Yeah, in November and December.
Yeah, but I mean, still, that's.
I think this is one of those situations where I think both things can be true. Like people are saying, well, if Gonzaga was in the Big Ten or every night where they had a challenge, then they would finish like with 7 league losses. I don't think that's true. But I do think it would be far more challenging than where they are now. I think the frustration comes with people are like, all they have to do is beat 2 big teams in November, December, and they lock their number 1 seed and they can hit cruise control.
I mean,
whereas
admittedly,
Illinois and Purdue and Wisconsin are beating the hell out of each other.
I mean, that's fair.
For
it is
3
a
months.
little bit like Clemson in the ACC, right?
And as good as Gonzaga's tournament success, I've kind of turned over a new leaf on this. I've changed my opinion of them. They're 1-11 against the top 3 seeds in the last 6 tournaments. So, yeah, Gonzaga's gone to a lot of Sweet 16s and all of that. It's easier to do that when you're in the biggest mistake that the NCAA tournament ever made is making the regions geographical instead of seeding it by true seed.
Right.
Because now Gonzaga gets sent west, and the West is always the weakest region, always. So you're more in line. But again, Gonzaga earns that. During the regular season, if you play well, you earn the easier path. Finally, and you briefly mentioned this, statement 3, Kyler Murray won't be an Arizona Cardinal next year.
Listen, Kyler Murray, I remember when Kyler Murray was coming into the draft.
Get this out of here.
What? Derek, kids love that. What do you have against
our audience is, and we do the numbers on this, is largely 65-plus adult men.
Well, then they love clowns. Are you kidding me? They grew up with Emmett Kelly. What are you doing?
Kids do not like this because kids don't watch this. If they're anything like my kid, they watch videos of people putting Legos together.
You know what they watched? Bozo.
What's that?
Kyler Murray, before he was drafted into the NFL, did an interview with Dan Patrick, I remember at the time, where I thought he acted like an ass, entitled. He's a wonderful player. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's a great baseball player, too. You could just tell before the whole deal when he got drafted by Arizona that he thought he was the center of everything, quite frankly. And I don't know what he's doing in Arizona. He issued some statement talking, I mean, it was this long and defending himself about taking the Arizona Cardinals down off his Instagram page, and it just stopped the madness and quit acting 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like being afraid of clowns.
I don't get it. I don't get, was he trying to get the public on his side? Like this statement,
I don't know.
It was like somebody posted a CVS receipt and said, here's Kyler Murray's statement. Like, it was so long. I was
it was
I don't want to read this whole thing. It's a chore to read this. Like, I don't care enough.
He should fire his PR person.
Yeah, I don't care enough to dedicate 90 seconds to reading this.
Right.
So, yeah, he's going to be an Arizona Cardinal next season because he's got no other choice.
He's a good player.
He's got year 4, and then he's got a 5th-year option, which they'll pick up. So there's nothing really that he can do about
Presumably
this.
They will.
I don't think that this whole thing about him being scapegoated or whatever else, he did not play well at the end of the year. But I don't think that necessarily means that Arizona's going to throw everything out because he had a bad month.
Do you care if I take Squeaky home?
No, get him the hell away from me. That's fine.
Does that mean you won't come home?
Do whatever you want at home. Take the clown paintings at home, shower at home. I don't care about what you do in your own house. Just don't involve me in it.
So you're not coming over if I put Squeaky in next to the Manson letter?
You've never invited me over, ever. I've been over at Shannon's because she invited me. It's her house.
Right.
And you guys ain't married, so you don't have any ownership.
Did I know about
there.
this?
Well, I've been over there a couple of times to pet the dogs. So I've been inside the house to pet the dogs.
I'm going to put that next to the Manson letter.
Great. Knock yourself out.
You can come by and
do whatever
see it
you
if
want.
like.
Yeah, I've already seen your. Well, been a long time, but I saw your place one time, and I wasn't invited. But I
really.
Well, I had to pick you up, and I came up the stairs, and
getting more and more
you
bizarre.
buzzed me in, and I went into your fridge because I thought, oh, maybe he has a bottle of water in here.
Right.
And there was a jar with no lid of mustard.
That's correct. Yep.
And a half-eaten Speedway deli sandwich. And that was your entire fridge.
Yeah, of course.
And at that point, you were well into your 40s. So it was kind of sad, honestly, all things considered. Thanks to our great sponsors, Chateau Kitchens, Love Heating and Cooling,
Stewart Tire,
Bailey and Wood Financial Group, Stewart Tire and Automotive, all places that you, WGU Indiana, all places that you should support for supporting us. And we appreciate your support on this show,
Sunny
whether
out
you're
there.
listening in podcast form or watching or whatever else you're doing. If you've made it this far, thanks. I don't know what else really to say. Appreciate Alan. We appreciate Rake
Can
and
I go
our buddy
to bed
Jordan
now?
for making this show possible. And if this show still exists next week, then we'll do a show.
76, right?
We'll see. That's what I always
The
plan
Hoosiers,
on.
the undefeated Hoosiers.
Oh, are we really going to do that?
Kent Benson wants us to.
Let's pick our favorite Sixer and make him part of the show. Daryl Dawkins.
Moses Malone.
Yeah, there we go. It's Query and Schultz. Have a
Chocolate
great
Thunder.
week, you guys.
It's
Bye.
pretty cool. Planet Lovetron, Derek.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows. Wherever you find your favorite app, And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Leaps the man, still on his feet. Stevens lunges. Are you kidding me?
Champions of Marion County. Unbelievable.
Touchdown.
Living up to that last name. Wabash has the lead for the first time today. Said that was going to be a highlight reel. Oh, baby.
Yeah, you can celebrate after that.